Welcome to a new episode of Chapters Over Coffee, where two sisters read so many chapters of a book and discuss it. This week we're discussing pages 252 through 311, and let's just say we were not prepared for what was about to happen. People are back from the dead, feelings are brought back, and it's now a race against time. So let's get into it.
Okay, we opened this week's episode with kind of a lot to unpack. Like a lot to unpack.
Yes.
We are so we open this chapter still kind of reeling with the aftermath of last episode, last stretch of chapters where we left off, where the villages had been attacked again. Many people are stating, that they've seen Isla coming out of the ground. Astria makes her comment that, she's done it before. Um, so now she's beginning to question whether it was her that actually did it, especially because she had the bracelets taken off. So she was able to kind of like unleash her powers. She's super strong again. And uh, even though she's got her Skyer to kind of like keep her powers in check to focus, be able to target what she needs to, um, she kind of wonders if this is her price to pay, which is what I had wondered before. Like, was that her price to pay because she got that Skyer wrong, And then she kind of like fell into sleep and then she wakes up, she's covered in dirt, and she gets back to Nightshade. All of this shit fucking went down, and it's like, okay, that's too much of a coincidence for that to happen. And she's reeling with her thoughts also of wondering if Grim thinks that she did it. Does he suspect, you know, like if she showed up to the town, would people be freaking out and screaming, like she's the villain who had returned to finish them off? Had she attacked the village unknowingly? Had that monster that's been growing inside taken over, while she slept, all as a part of the whole Skyer thing. So she's regretting taking off the bracelets and she feels that it like really may have been her. So she goes to their room, grabs her star stick, she portals to the village. She lands there covered in her shadow so that way nobody knows that she's there. And she arrives to complete and total devastation after this attack. And she's feeling so awful that she kind of loses that hold on her powers and exposes herself just kind of being there. And, obviously Grim goes, he comforts her, and she swears to him that she did not do that it was not something that she would do. And he tells her that he believes her, but, I think she's still kind of
Self
skeptical.
doubt.
And she really wants to believe, in that moment that that was not her. And, so she does tell Grim, like, "Hey, if you see me get up in the middle of the night, if you see me trying to leave, fucking follow me." Like, she does not trust herself
Mm-hmm.
at all. She's got all this stuff running through her mind. She's got him telling her, "Kill anybody you want. I'll never judge you. Follow the snakes." The augur's words, back when he told her, when you learn the truth of yourself, your path will be clear. And um, so I think it's the next day, a couple days later, whatever. She takes her skyred tooth. She visits Ren. All of the snakes are like attracted to her. It's like as if she's got something about her that's kind of calling to them. And so they respond to her and they kind of just like, take to her, climb up her legs, wrap around her chest, almost as if that like reflection she had seen, the picture on the augur's wall and everything of her just kind of like covered in the snakes. That's what they do to her. So she like goes back to Grimm. She's visits him in the throne room, and she's like, what if I'm what everyone says I am? What if I'm a traitor? What if I'm a monster? And what if I end up being your downfall? Grimm tells her that he will defend her until his last breath, when all of a sudden shit starts to fucking
Mm-hmm.
happen. You know, the ground's rumbling, Astria shows up, there's a fucking army on the front steps that looks like their army, but, um, she doesn't understand why the army would kinda show up like that because there's no way that anybody would stage a
Mm-hmm.
fucking coup against him. Um, so as he goes to reach for her, as Grim goes to reach for her, she's swallowed up. Like something just kind of like grabs her and fucking drags her down. So she's going through this tunnel when she's deposited into um like this cave like room deep underground, and there's a woman in there, and the lighting's not very good, so she can't obviously see who it is. She's just described at first as, a woman with long dark hair, large eyes, and tanned skin. Vines wrapped around her arms and legs, and she's wearing nothing more than a tapestry of woven branches, flowers, grass, and leaves. Isla immediately recognized her as being a wildling and, not really accuses her, but states the obvious, like, "You're wildling, you are the person that attacked the village," and the woman doesn't deny it. Her first thing that she says is like, "Oh, you don't recognize me." Fucking no shit, dude, like, never fucking seen you. So she asks her what she wants, and the woman just kinda says to make this world anew, she wants to kill every last one of the Nightshade. So Isla tries to attack the woman in that moment, and she gets one of her blades, throws it right into the woman's chest. It pierces her heart, but she does not collapse, she doesn't bleed, she doesn't die. She just frowns. So Isla gathers all of her power, throws everything at her, her ice, her energy, her vines, her shadows. She just unleashes all of this upon this woman. And she's, gets fucked up enough to where, like, one of her arms was fucking missing, but like nothing happens. She's there. And it kind of reminded me of like something from the Terminator. Like the lady in the Terminator 2, like they're fucking them up, but then they just kind of like reanimate themselves, so to speak. And so all the gaps in her body are filled again without a single drop of blood. Her arms remade, her eyes, her arteries, her skin glows like bark and vines. And she says, "You didn't let me finish. I want to kill every last one of them and use them to build something better, build a new world. And so I asked, what makes you think." Oh, wait.
Oh,
Isla asks, mind fucking notes. Isla asks, "What makes you think you can create a world?" To which she responds, "Because I've done it before." And that's when things kind of, two and two start coming together. The thought of the augure's promise of the future and all of the snakes had gone to her. They had wrapped around her arms and chest, just like the etching in the cave. And that was when she realized the woman looked like her more than just from a distance. They shared features. They had the same lips, the same cheekbones, um, the exact same shade of green eyes, and the whole wildling thing that it kind of finally clicked. And she says, "You're getting it. It's so nice to meet you, Isla. I'm Lark Crown."
okay. So we know that Grimm has Cronin's flare. Did we find out Horace's flare?
I don't think so.
We find out that she's alive, but I almost feel like Isla's Lark, Oro is Horace, Grimm is Cronin.
Kind of like a
Can't
version
really
of
say
them for
they're
the new world.
because you can't really say they're reincarnated because Lark's alive, and then
Yeah. Cronin is alive. And so at this point, we don't even know yet if fucking Horace is alive. Oh, wait, no, we do. Oh, we do. We find
Yeah,
his
we'll get
body.
to that. We'll get
Yeah,
to
we
that.
do. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, maybe
So it
I
was
don't
like,
know.
but we do find more things out about Cronin. Yes, he is alive, but there was like he's not there.
Yeah.
So it still makes me wonder though, like, are them three the three new ones? Almost like okay, almost like in Fourth Wing, everybody has um like the dark ones always have the opposite, like somebody of the
There's a
opposite.
balance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
there's
I
a
was looking for.
balance. Light
So
and
are
dark,
these
good and evil.
so are these three the balance to those three?
Good. That's
It's kind of how I can see it.
yeah, that's really good.
Cuz we don't know yet about like what else is going to happen later on when it comes to Lark and stuff. So I'm wondering though if these three, because they're the most three powerful ones, they're the realms that created Light Lark. So are they the balance that is needed?
Yeah. I like that. And that could very well. I mean, like, because this is a world that it's based on the same, and that was like their balance on that world. And if that place was like a darker place and this was supposed to be a better version of that, then there's gonna be like a nicer.
I have questions, and this will kind of go later on once you talk more about it, like because you haven't touched yet on what Lark tells her about. I have some thoughts or some questions that I need to know.
Okay, with that, we go into this one. We just find out that Lark is alive. She is hold up.
Oops.
Oh, so we just we just found out who the mysterious person is. Isla is questioning like you're supposed to be dead, you
Yep.
know. And Lark is obviously just like, well, obviously you can see him fucking hard to kill cuz here I am.
Mm-hmm.
She tells Isla that she was buried by someone she trusted. Worlds are built on bones, and so many needed to die to free the lands. When we made Lightlark, so much power had to be given, including our own. And Isla, brings up the heart of Lightlark. So then Lark continues saying that the heart had more than that. It was stolen from the world from which we came, a seed of endless ability. And she didn't have that, and Cronin had used his children for power, bearing them, but one line could only give so much. He was supposed to die to give the ground what it needed, some of the original power born to the other world. Instead, he had used her to anchor it. He had buried her in metal that leached her power so she couldn't use it to escape um, until she was set free.
I have questions.
Who set her
So,
free?
does that, yeah, for one, yeah, who did set her free?
Like, I was hoping I didn't miss that.
The
Like,
betrayal, for one. The betrayal, because she was in love with him.
yep.
So, she's powering Light Lark. Does that mean that Light Lark won't crumble if something happens to Oro? Because he's
I don't think
technically
so.
He's not, his ruling line is not the ones that are powering it. She pretty much was doing it herself.
That's a good
So,
question.
so I'm curious. Now, if she dies, does Lightlark crumble? That'd be the other option because she's the one powering it. Or because we know somebody dies in the next book, do they sacrifice themselves to power Lightlark?
I don't know. I feel like if Lark died, though, maybe it wouldn't crumble because technically the three heirs to the creator are still alive, that it would just kind of like transfer down to them to do what's needed.
But what would power it if it's using her powers?
Like they
And
would
how is she so
sacrifice
strong?
themselves and be the one to die. I don't know.
I'm curious now though, if she's so like she's powering Lightlark, it would have drained her, but how is she still so strong?
I don't know. Maybe she was one of those once in a lifetime, like Isla special. I don't know. And we're almost to the very end that
I
I
know.
hope we get a lot more information.
And then we have to wait till December. Okay. Those were my thoughts and questions.
I know. So, with her saying that, Isla realizes that Cronin is alive. Knowing that his coffin was empty, Lark pretty much confirms it, says that he's back in the world that they came from and that he had created the portal. He had drained Lark of as much power as he could over and over until he had enough to use his flare and rip a hole in this world to the next. Lark tells her that he's more powerful than you can imagine. That's pretty much why the journey back through the portal didn't kill him, but I guess it just kind of like ensured his safety by draining her of like her fucking power.
So does that confirm that his coffin is not the portal like she had assumed it was?
See, I don't know. I don't know.
If
That's a good
he's
question.
alive, how did he get back there?
I don't know. Maybe he staged his death and that was his way out and it is the portal because they
And
all
I
believed him to
still
be dead and buried there.
I still want to know how uh Tara ended up in the closed off door in the wildling area when she was clear on Nightshade. I need to know that too. Like, how did you get there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I need some answers to fill in some blanks. Sorry.
You're fine. Um, so yeah, the power he stole from her ensured that he would stay alive, and she knows that he's alive because his curses had survived. And if he would have died, since they're all bound to his blood, the curses would have died with him. Which is kind of shitty to fucking curse all your people and then deuce out. Like, bye, you can fucking deal with this.
Okay, but what
So
curses?
yeah, like what other curses are there other than the big one?
Yeah.
And that's already gone. So I don't know. Maybe that's something we'll find out. Maybe we'll have to fight Cronin in the next book.
Ugh.
That'll be fun. Isla asks her like why she wants to create a new world. Why does she want to kill everybody? She tells Isla that's what she should have done in the first place. She should have killed Cronin and Horace and built the world from their bones. And she's not going to make that mistake again. She realizes that Lark wants to kill Oro and Grimm. So I'm wondering if which plays a big part into the whole prophecy. So is she going to kill one above the other? Like, is it prophesized that she's going to kill one over the other because of Lark?
But why does Lark want Oro dead if her beef is
Because
more
of
with Cronin? Because we
because
haven't learned much.
she's going to use them to build their power, their bones. They're the
Mm,
current leaders, so she's going to kill their lines off. She can't get to Cronin, so she's going to use his heir to do it. At least that's how I took it. Like,
makes
can't get the
sense.
actual thing, why not get the real,
Yeah, I can
you know?
understand
And she can't get to Horace's bones because
what you have to go
I don't
through.
know, she might. She might. She's not
She
dead. Or she's
she
not
tried,
alive. She's
but
basically dead.
I don't think she can now. I mean, what you have to trek through, but I don't
Yeah.
know. She tried though. She tried.
Yeah. Uh she asks what she has planned to do with her. And Lark tells her, I plan to kill you too, but you might be more useful to me alive. You have access to all the realm's powers. The heart of Light Lark has marked you, and she can feel the energy coming from her. And she needs his power to create a new world. And Isla's going to help her find it. Isla refuses, not caring that Lark is her blood. And she proceeds uh to tell Isla, no one understands you. You're a traitor. Everywhere you're alone. I can see it. And says that she can give her life, that she can save her, pretty much meaning that, like, I can save you. You're going to be fucking undead, but, like, I can save you. I can give you life. I can give you eternity, whatever. Like,
The
just
temptation. Ugh.
accept it. Yeah. And, is that where their thing left off? Because then I just go into, like, she's able to get herself out of the tunnel. She ends up back at the castle. Um, and one of her bloodless goons tries to attack. And she realizes, like, it is Grimm's army, but it's not his army. It's, an undead army. She took and reanimated all of the buried bodies. Um, and then Grimm shows up with his actual true army, and they go at it. And, like, they're losing because they can't,
Mm.
like, all these people just keep coming back. Um, so she decides that she's going to, like, unleash her powers, and she has more control of them. Um, she can, like, send her shadows to just specifically target all of the undead army. And Grimm does the same. She also taps into Oro's powers, catching them on fire, and she has Grimm portaling people out, so then that way, like, they don't risk killing, like, their own people and everything like that. And then all of a fucking sudden, Lark just has her army kind of just deuce out. Like, they go through
Yeah.
this big fucking battle, and then they're gone. They vanish. So obviously Isla thinks that she's replenishing the army, which probably. Um, Grim portals them back. She grabs a star stick and she goes and she sees the blacksmith, or, like, she I don't know if she intended to portal there or if she just kinda, like, gets like, he pulls her to him, like, the star
He
stick kinda just, like, does its own thing in that moment as if, like,
I
that's where
think
she
it
needed to be.
I think he called for her because I think she mentioned it, and he's like, "Well, who do you think created it?"
Yeah, okay. So she's there with him, he's calling in his favor early, he
My
knows about
heart.
Lark, he basically, like, forces and begs her, to do it, and, uh, he tells her that, so we find out from the blacksmith that Cronin had trapped Lark because Lark loved him. She cannot be incapacitated. He got her when, she was sleeping. So we find out that that was her weakness. That was Cronin's way in. That was his betrayal to her. Like that's
Mm.
an extensive betrayal, by the way. So he gives her a suit of armor that he made that's shade made. He tells her she's gonna need it for the fight with Lark, plus so much more. And I need more about what that
Yep.
is gonna be. Um,
Cronin? Does he know about
oh,
Cronin?
maybe. I would assume that he's maybe got an idea. Um, he even brings up, like, I assume you've met the prophet followers, or know about them. He had never believed in their prophecies until he had met Isla, and then he understood um, who she was, like with her parents, Flair, and it was all starting to make sense. And she was born to either destroy the world or to save it. He can sense that Lark is coming, so he wants her to hurry up and kill him because he can't be killed. He can be compelled, and his skills have been twisted by people like her for millennia, and she will use him to destroy the world, just as she did to make it. She needs him, but he doesn't want her to be able to use him. He tells Isla she's always had everything she needed, and uh just as she's giving him like his, killing blow, he remembers what his name is, which I thought was kind of cool.
I thought it was
Um
Baron. Where did
no,
Baron come from?
maybe that's just what they called him on
Because
there
Grimm
because he
called
didn't
him
know what his name
Baron.
was. I know he did.
So I
He
assumed
did.
his name was Baron the whole time. So when I read that
Maybe
he had
Baron
an
was his
actual
last
name,
name. Maybe Baron was his last name.
yeah. So when I found out he had
Farrar
an actual
Baron.
a, f- a first name, I'm like,
Yeah.
I thought it was Baron. But my heart on this one,
Yeah. So I pronounce his name Farrar. I have no idea if that's
I
right or not, but um Isla gets the fuck out of there before, like, just as Isla or Lark is, showing up. And now we have even more feeling coming into play for Isla. She's coming to grips with the fact that she's not even the wildling ruler, technically, like Lark
mm,
is, because she's still alive.
so that means that technically, even though Cronin's not there, Grimm's not the ruler either.
Nope. No, I don't think so. It might work a little different since
He's
he's
not there.
like in another world, but no, he's not technically like the legit ruler, I don't think. Um so Grimm's ordering everybody like dig up the dead bodies, burn them, like even though it's, you know, disrespectful and everything. He doesn't want to give Lark any more ammo to use to build up her army. She confronts Grim about knowing that Lark was alive, knowing she was buried below. Um, she knows that both him and Oro knew, and they kept it from her. Grim tells her that he actually told Oro just, prior that like before the centennial at the centennial before the trials had started so that way Oro wouldn't try to like kill her. And he knew that her death wouldn't fulfill the full centennial prophecy. So, did they know she was gonna like? They knew.
They knew she was alive. Or at least Grim
No,
did, but
they.
how did he find out?
It says he knew that her death wouldn't fulfill the centennial prophecy. Did they know Isla was gonna be the one to break the fucking curses?
Oh,
Her death wouldn't fulfill the centennial prophecy. It wouldn't end the familial line, and it was also a way to prevent him from trying to kill Grim because his line's power had trapped her, and only his power could release her upon his death,
okay, so
and she
maybe
would have been
like
free.
somebody was supposed to sacrifice. So I think it was like if she was the one that sacrificed or that
Gotcha.
died, it wouldn't end their line because Lark. So nobody,
Okay.
no realm would have died. So she couldn't, theoretically, she
Okay.
wouldn't been able to die. Okay, now that's how I kind of get it. Because there was
Okay.
still
That makes
somebody in power that's alive
yeah, okay.
in her line.
Okay. That makes sense. Um Grimm continues by telling her that many of their histories had been buried, but Oro knew that Lark had been just as ruthless as Cronin, that she had killed thousands to form the land, and she had made it from their bones. Freeing her would have meant the end of the world, and they both knew it that it was why Isla couldn't know, because she's your family, she's part of your realm. They thought that she might one day be compelled to visit her. And because Isla would have had access to Grimm's power, that would have given her um, the opportunity to kind of like be freed from being like not really enslaved. It's not the word I want to be, imprisoned. Uh, Isla tells Grimm, Cronin is alive, and Grimm's like, "That's impossible." I was like, "Obviously not. I mean, all of this is fucking impossible." They form a plan saying that they need to be able to send her through the portal. Then they need to close it behind her because nothing on this world can kill her. So they want to send her back, and they decide that they need to go looking for the missing pieces of the Prophet's Book that contain the information on how to open and close portals if it still existed. It would be on Lightlark. So Isla decides she's gonna go find it. She tells Grim to stay put. So then that way, if I every time I see Lark, I want to say Lightlark. But
Yeah.
so that way, if Lark comes back, he's there to kind of like protect his people. And we end that chapter with her portaling right onto Lightlark.
These were not my favorite at all.
No,
They were
no,
not my favorite at all.
not
So
mine either.
and I guess I got my answer from last week's episode when what's gonna happen when Oro comes back? What's her feelings gonna be like? I got my answer in these chapters. Not my favorite. So, picking up where you left off, the tooth did not lead her directly to the lost pages like she had thought. Instead, she landed at the edge of a forest and that she found out that she was on Sun Island. So she navigates through the woods when she comes to get across some gates. The tooth was now nearly searing at her flesh at this point, meaning the pages were somewhere on the other side. She tried pushing the gates open when nothing happened. She tried to fly over them, but she was met with resistance. She even tried using Grimm's portaling power, and still nothing happened. So she pulls on her power, rips trees from their roots, and sharpens them, turning them into a battering ram. And as soon as she went to slam it through the gates, she was knocked off her feet, a blade to her throat, and amber eyes pinning her down. And here we have Oro entering the picture. Uh, then they have a moment staring at each other. He tells her that he should kill her and then asks her what she was doing there, wondering if she was going to kill him as well. Because it was rumored, or it was witnesses had thought they had saw her killing the entire coastal guard consisting of 20 warriors. So she then explains to him that it wasn't her, but it was Lark. To which then she brings up the fact that he knew that Lark was alive and never told her. And she believed that that she accused him that he believed that she would go seek Lark out and awaken her because she had family.
Yeah.
But my question is, who woke her? Who woke her up? Like,
Yeah,
what happened?
that's what
What
I'm starting to
happened?
wonder, like,
Who else knew she was there? Like, who all knows that's where she was?
yeah.
Or is there like a ritual, to wake her? Did somebody do something? Is it because the curses were broke?
Oh,
Because the curses, that main curse on Lightlark was broke? Well, no, that couldn't work.
maybe?
She was buried. Well, where is she buried? Because
Yeah,
the
that's
Newlands isn't on Lightlark. Lightlark was its own little thing that just showed up
yeah.
every 100 years during Centennial. So where is she buried, and how did she pull Isla from Nightshade? Like, that kind of raises some questions, and I never thought of that before when I was doing my notes. Like, for one, where is she buried? Because she's supposed to be powering Lightlark.
Yeah.
Um, and who or what's awoken her? That's kind of confusing. Like, if she's supposed to be powering Lightlark, but yet she pulled Isla from Nightshade, which those aren't part of Lightlark,
Mm-mm.
like any of like Nightshade or Newlands, because since the Nightshade's its own little thing, because since they were banned or
Yep.
banished from Lightlark, so I need answers now.
I
I
know.
need I need answers now on how that played out. And how did he get her in her sleep? Like, what all did he do? Did he bury her alive? Like, I know he, like, compromised to where she couldn't use her powers, but did he just, like,
Yeah.
bury her alive after that? I don't know. Okay. Um, then we find out, because Aura tells her that only his bloodline can open the gates, but if she did it correctly, she would have been able to open them due to the fact that he loved her and that they had that connection. There was a reason only his bloodline allowed and was allowed inside. Past the gates held their harshest temps. Even sunlings could die from the heat. Excuse me. Their powers could be used, but the elements are stronger and can drain them much, much more quickly. And we do find that out later on with Isla. Um, we did learn a little bit about Aura's past, that he was locked in this area for a week to prove that he was worthy of his line. Um, and then Isla was curious and asked him, if some people in his line had died doing this, and he confirmed it, that some did not survive. As they're walking, Isla couldn't find the words to talk to him, even though she dreamed about this day. And this is, I do not like this part. She did know that he still loved her because she could feel the bond between them. And then she gets the thoughts of killing him before he would sense her movement. And she knew that Lightlark wouldn't be destroyed while she was still alive. She could fulfill the prophecy and Grim would be safe, but her hands remained by her side. So she kind of like ignores that thought. And then as they're walking, the air becomes heavier, and Oro tells her to conserve her strength because it was only going to get hotter. And then after some time, Isla started to drop each one of her daggers until one remained. They were all weighing her down, but the tooth was still pulling her forward. Not much like really happens on their walk until they get to the cave, but she knew she needed water. She was barely moving. Oro does tell her there's an oasis, but it wasn't close. And then before long, a sandstorm was off in the distance. Oro stated that they needed to get inside now, but there was nowhere for them to go, so they're like kind of stuck in the middle of the desert. She was slowing down, so Oro took her arm and they started running. She didn't think that she'd be able to make it without his help. She knew the sand would swallow her whole and kill her, but she also remembered that Grim and the whole area of Nightshade was counting on her. At this point, the sand has now reached them, but through the sand, she did notice the hole in the rock. So once they get inside, she plants herself. It said they got inside, but I think she's still kind of outside of the hole because she plants herself against the wall, then uses the sand or the storm stone that Azul had given her to capture part of the storm in it. Because then it goes to when she was back inside the cave, she realizes that it was hot between the heat just in there and then their body temperatures that are like making it even worse.
Mhm.
Um, we do learn that the storm could last for hours. So, because of the heat, she starts stripping down naked. Um, Oro's sitting across from her, just watching her, looking close to about losing his mind. So when he starts to undress, she did the same to him, watching him as the sweat was dripping down his chest, imagining herself tracing it with her finger. And this answered my question from last week that her feelings are still there.
Yeah.
And Grim's like out of her mind right now. Or like far, far back.
Yep.
Far, far back in her mind at this point. Realizing what she was imagining, though, she turns around, blaming it on the heat getting to her. So at this point, she's burning up. She tries to use their connected link for Moonling to ice her sweat, but she only got like a tiny, tiny amount. So when that didn't work, Aura offers to give her cold relief. She knew she shouldn't have, or she knew she should have said no. They were now enemies, and she was married to someone else. But what does she do? When Aura runs his hand down her arm, she groans, making it sound far more sensual than it should have. Because then she takes his hands, placing them on her forehead, knowing he dulled the ache. And then we get another moment where they're like staring in each other's eyes, and she starts to remember things, making her forget herself to forget the other half of her heart. So then again, Grim is like far back in her mind. Like she totally forgets about him at this point. Because then she takes his fingers down her face, jaw, and throat, telling him it feels so good when he touches her. Um, they're still staring. I said they're still staring or they're still having this staring contest because then she takes their hands down her chest, causing an ache to build, an ache from her past, a memory. He then tells her he's sorry. So he's trying to like change the subject because then he brings that Zed is in prison and that he shouldn't have done that. She doesn't voice it, but in the back of her mind, I think she felt bad because that's one of his like closest friends that he just imprisoned.
Yeah.
But she didn't say anything to him about it. She kind of like kept it all to herself. She then proceeds to take his hand even further down her body. But Aura lets her know that the storm has power and it can heighten senses and emotions. But in the back of her mind, she didn't want him to stop touching her. So he does the right thing and tells her to sleep. So going into the next chapter, we kind of get like this one's more of like a memory chapter of their past together or before she goes back to Nightshade. So we start
Yeah,
off
this is
with
the night before the battle.
yes. So we start off with Isla surprising Oro in his chambers. She wanted a piece of happiness before everything, something to hold on to before all the bloodshed that was about to happen. So she wore
Before
a
everything
red
goes to shit.
and before her feelings for him go out the window. And yeah, again,
Yeah.
she's like back and forth. And I didn't like this because she swore to Grim that she was gonna try, she was gonna go full into this marriage, and now she's having dreams and wanting
Well,
Oro
we
to
do
touch
find out.
her.
Well, I think it was in the chapter you just talked about, like that sand and everything. You can't like inhale it because it's like a drug almost. Like it
It'll
makes
suffocate you
you just,
too.
yeah,
It'll
like
suffocate
it'll
them.
make you think think the thoughts.
So she's in a red dress that was molded to her skin. So when Oro arrives to his room, he had gone still. He wanted to tear the dress to shreds with his teeth. What are we? A wolf or something? Like Um, so at this point, Isla just wanted to pretend that Oro wasn't king and that Isla wasn't his enemy. Um, she was Nightshade. Since she was Nightshade, she had opened the portal, or what she thought was the portal, because I don't believe it was. Um, she helped Grim find the sword, making it possible to destroy everything. She wanted to pretend there was no past. Then she wants Oro to turn her dress gold. So, um, I put Isla tells her. I meant to put Oro tells her he'd call Leto after everything was over to make her this gold dress that she wanted, but that's not what she meant. She wanted him to turn the one she was wearing gold. She does let him know that he won't hurt her, that she does trust him. And then once the dress was gold, Isla wanted him to melt it off of her. Then we get a little scene where they pleasure each other. That's the extent of it, really. And I have to say, we are in book 3, and to this point, he still won't go all the way with her. Like,
I thought he did like one time in book 2.
are you
Like,
talking about the one where he's behind? No, he just makes her feel good.
oh,
He was still
well,
clothed. He was still clothed because remember, I got confused about taking the shirt off why he would because she was
yeah.
wearing his shirt and stuff. But like, yeah, no, I pretty sure none of those acts they had. That's why she said she wanted it. Like she finally wanted it. And in this chapter or this like flashback, she still didn't get it. He like stopped her
Lame.
and just allowed her to go down on him. That's as far as he's let her go. That's like, but like I said, we're in book 3 and he has yet to do this. Like, I mean, I guess I know you got trust issues, but like, what's fully holding him back? Unless he's
Maybe it
afraid
doesn't
that
always work.
there's a pill for that.
Listen, this is Lightlark. You don't know that.
Um, then again, maybe he thinks that, which I think he would know, be since he can tell lies, like if she was lying about the whole thing, but maybe he thought that she would take his powers fully after that, or like try to trap him. I don't know, but he's gonna know if she was lying.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, but cue the end of the dream. She wakes up realizing where she was and who she was with. And then we find out that in her sleep, she called out Laura's name constantly. Uh,
Multiple times.
yes. She wanted to know why he didn't wake her, but his only response was, "It looked like you were enjoying yourself." So she's angry with herself, and then
Ew.
she's ashamed of herself, and then her thoughts turn to Grim. Finally, she has the wake up call that, hey, I'm married.
Yep.
Because she wondered, what would he think with her being gone for so long? Was he okay? Um, she would never forgive herself if something happened to him because she felt like she was taking too long to get what she needed. So they get dressed, they're leaving the cave. He wouldn't let Isla lead the way. Um, and she couldn't figure out why, but he said there was only one structure out here and that he knew the way. So they're walking. She's still wearing out fast. She would have fallen if it weren't for arms wrapped around her and Oro telling her that they were close and that she could make it. She tried to grab onto his power to help, but she was too weak to hold on. So at this point, he carries her. And instead of telling him to put her down, she almost melts into his touch. Um, they should be enemies with her being Grimm's wife, but yet she trusted him almost more than anyone. But yet he betrayed her by not telling her about Lark. But she's not going to hold that against him like she holds everything against Grimm. Um, she starts going in and out of consciousness, and then she was plunged into some water. Oro does heal her burns with his limited power, and she tried not to think about the fact that he knew her body and she knew his. Again, Grimm's like an afterthought, clear back in her head. He doesn't
Yep.
exist at this point right now. Because then they're both naked in the water, and she realizes that. And then the word Trados echoing in her mind. She wasn't sure who she was betraying, if it was herself or everybody else. And I'm assuming this is like, I wonder if it's like her feelings, like it's just the three of them, and it's like her betrayal to like her feelings. She's telling Grim this thing, and now that she's with Oro, it's just her and Oro alone, and they're kind of naked, and now she's like got these feelings for him again. So it's like a back and forth type. He asks her if she was happy. She tells him yes, but he looks unconvinced. She did want to ask him if she was lying, but she didn't want to. She didn't want to give him that. She was happy. She did love Grim, but she also loved Oro. So then he gets closer to her, asking her why she got married. She tells him because she wanted to, but he still didn't look convinced. He then proceeds to ask her if they were enemies and if that's what she wanted. And Isla tells him that she hated him. And his response was for her to tell him that when she wasn't moaning his name in her sleep. That was a low blow.
Yep.
That was a low blow. Because he tried to
Where's the
reassure
lie,
her.
though?
I know, but he was trying to reassure her back then that, the heat heightens emotions and, senses and stuff. And now he's going to use it against her as a low blow.
Yeah.
Um, At this point, they're back to walking. Isaac could see the structure off into the distance. It was a palace that was carved into the entire side of a golden cliff. It looked like a castle trapped into stone. Aura says it was a tomb. Um, he then tells Isla they needed to wait to go inside, but she was getting impatient. She didn't have time. Excuse me. Nightshade could be taken over, or Grim could be in trouble. Now we have Grim. Now she's finally thinking about Grim. So while waiting, she does study the structure more, noticing a flame on top of the mountain that was called the Forever Flame. And I wonder if this is going to play a big part, like this flame, because Oro states that it hasn't gone out in thousands of years. Kings have fallen and risen, curses were made and broken, and it has endured it all. But
That would make sense
I wonder, because why state it? Why bring it up if
if
it
it's
doesn't
not gonna
have,
play a bigger part.
yeah. Um they finally go inside the structure. We learn that no fire can be used in there. It will immediately burn out. And the only way to like really fully navigate the room with light is during the winter at dawn and only for a few moments.
So, basically, this castle is a lot like the maze, like, it nullifies your power, like, you can't use,
But you can't
like,
forget
your powers.
Cronin's tomb or casket, and now Horace's, that we'll find out here later on, are Shade Maid. Shade
Yes.
Maid nullifies
Yep.
powers. And I wonder if it was used that way to make sure
She couldn't get
nothing
out?
with their bodies.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they can't produce anything. Um She knew there wasn't much time, so she takes the tooth out of her pocket when it flies into what she thought was a wall, but it wasn't a wall. It was a single piece of paper with red crimson ink faded. It was exactly what she was looking for. So we finally found that piece of the page that was missing. So Horace had taken it.
Which honestly
Um,
wasn't really what I expected. I figured Cronin had taken
no.
it. Like, Cronin was
Or
the one that killed him. Cronin was, the one that took
I'm not gonna
the
lie, I
paper.
thought it was Celeste.
Oh, I didn't even think about her, but yeah.
I kind of thought it was Celeste. Um, we learned this is where we learn, that the tomb was made of shade made. It was said that Horus had a relic, and many have tried to open it but couldn't. The relic was supposed to be a bone of a finger from a god. So it was a bone of a finger from a god. So the light was starting to disappear. So Isla wasted no time. Well, yeah, because damn it, I'm confusing myself now. Oh yeah, because Oro said that like they couldn't get the tomb open. So Isa wasted no time cutting her arm and getting blood on her palms. She then put both of her palms on the tomb and pushed it open. Inside was not bones, but a body. A man was inside whole, looking like he was sleeping. And let me tell you, I was waiting for this dude to wake up because
Right?
everyone else is alive. So why not him? I'm just waiting for him to like pop
Right.
his eyes open and
Yeah,
like
like,
come
they
to life.
snatched
Like
that
he,
bone and he's like, "Excuse me, motherfucker."
yeah. Or even just like, oh, the tube's finally open. I can finally awaken. Like
Yeah,
that's what I
like,
had thought. I was waiting for it to happen. But in his hands was a bone. So Isla tells Oro to take it because it could help them with Lark. The moment it was out of his hands, though, Horace's body became a corpse. The power of that bone had preserved his body. This is when we know like he was fully dead. But I was either waiting for him after
Mhm.
the tomb was open to wake up, or like they take that finger and he's in the like that's when his eyes
Yeah.
like the moment they touched it, his eyes would just like pop open and be like, "Ha, you're not getting
Yep.
it." I was waiting for it. So as they're exiting the tomb, there was another sandstorm happening. Isla asked Oro if they happen often, and his only response was that, that's why many people have not made it to this place. So for an hour, they sat in silence, watching the storm when Oro fell asleep. And she uses this to her advantage that she grabs the bone from him. He didn't feel it. He didn't even hear her leave, which obviously a little bit later he kind of
Yeah.
does, but so she's trucking through this storm with her shirt tied around her nose and mouth, remembering Aura's words about inhaling the sand. Even though Lark was all of their problem, she needed to leave him because he might not agree with her solution, which we don't know her solution yet.
Mhm.
Because we don't know exactly what that page said, because she had read the missing page. It had highlighted every instruction to open a portal and close it. Okay, okay. This is why he wouldn't agree with it because it required multiple scars as well as powerful objects to draw from. So this is where his bone's gonna come in place.
Yep.
She just needed to get back to Nightshade. So once far enough from the palace, Isla broke the storm, causing it to come out of the stone. She gained control of its winds with the skyline power, forming a tunnel to travel through. So she's running through this tunnel in hopes that Oro would hate her and hope he would forget her. And then it wasn't long before she started to wear out. She's barely maintaining the tunnel as she's trying to gather herself back up. But she knew she needed to keep going. So as she continued walking, excuse me, as she continued walking, she remembered all of her best memories, and then she remembered all of her worst memories, but she knew that there was more good than bad and she was willing to fight for it. So gripping the storm harder, she takes the sandstorm into a wave that she rode across the desert. She thought Aura wouldn't catch up and that she'd reach the gates before he even knew she was gone. And that's kind of like where we end on that one.
And we immediately pick back up with her, um, just thinking that she's making good time. She got far enough away from him when all of a sudden she hears something and turns just in time to basically see a dagger like skim past her fucking face and pierce the stone just inches from her. Same fucking daggers that she discarded at the beginning of their journey through this desert. He caught up to her and, she hurries up. She's trying to get the fuck out of there. And so they get to a spot where she can finally call on her powers just enough to kind of pull shadows to turn invisible, make herself disappear. She doesn't make it very far. Aura's like right next to her, and she's like, he can't see her, but like he's like pretty much right there, and he can feel her though. And they fucking go back and forth with their powers. He's using her power against her. And he confronts her. And he lets out so much emotion in this chapter.
Because of the
Um,
betrayal.
yes. He confronts her saying, "You stole from me, you left me, you betrayed me. Did you think I wouldn't find you? Did you think I wouldn't catch you?" So I'll just back it up. But he confronts her and says, "You stole from me, you left me, you betrayed me. Did you think I wouldn't find you? Did you think I wouldn't catch you? You can't hide from me. Even if I can't see you, I can feel you. You are relentless. You are a gravity. I've tried to escape, but I can't choose someone else. You left, and I still wait here like a fool for the day you might return. I go to that cliff, that beach, every single morning because the sea is the green of your eyes, and it's the closest I get to waking up next to you." She tells him to basically forget me. I'm not good enough for you. And he tells her that his love for her is like the forever flame. It's relentless, it's stubborn, it's endless, burning brightly, even if you're not around to see it. She's crying at this point. He begs her to come back to stay with him. Obviously, she tells him that she can't, and he keeps going saying that he has driven himself mad thinking about it. He understands why she left, that she wanted to stop the battle, she wanted to stop the death, but he can't understand why she stayed. He kept waiting for her to come back, so he came to her thinking that there must be something wrong, that he was somehow keeping you there, but then you gave me this, and he proceeds to pull out the necklace that he had made her and says that he wanted to destroy it, to burn it, and he says to her, "Tell me you don't miss me, tell me you don't think about me, and tell me you don't go back in time and change your mind." And she just tells him, "I don't miss you, I never think of you, and I don't go back in time and change my mind." He knows it's a fucking lie. And he goes to walk away before they realize that there's an army on the other side of the fucking gate or whatever. And of course, it's Lark's fucking undead army. 'Cause why not? Like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't they be there? Like, they got exactly what she's fucking looking for or whatever, and so why wouldn't she be there? She tells Oro that can't be killed, and he threatens to throw her into the forever flame, watch her burn until the end of time. Obviously, that can't happen. So she apologizes and pulls on the necklace, only taking a second for Grim to get there, just beyond the gates. And she pretty much tells them both, don't fucking touch each other, don't talk to each other, just leave each other the fuck alone. Like,
But they have to work
we're not
together.
doing this. Yes. And that since Lark is there, they can't defeat her divided. And the only chance they have is to work together. What a fucking way to end this. Because
I
that's the
know.
last thing they want to fucking do is work together.
Well, we do find out that they have to work together in the fourth book as well.
Yep.
So is
Yep.
it a
And I'm
continue?
assuming
Is it continuing from this
probably.
then?
It seems like it,
Because we still have 10 chapters.
but yes, I was gonna say we still have 10 chapters, so it's anyone's game at this point.
Hmm. I just, I need to know things.
I know.
And like if this ends on a cliffhanger and we have to wait till December.
Gonna suck.
I know. I mean, we'll get our Oreo Grim fix, but like, that's like prior to the
Yeah.
centennial and during the centennial.
I did see a thing where she did like this Q&A on Instagram, ask me anything
Mm-hmm.
type things, and somebody asked if we needed to read Grim and Oro before we read Crown Tide, and she said not necessarily. It'll just kind of give more context to like the first 3 books or whatever. But there will be hints at things
That they know that we don't know.
about Crown Tide or like situations that are going to happen in Crown Tide. It gives like hints or something. I don't know.
Mm.
I'll have to find the thing in, or you'll have to get on and look at it. But so that's all I have so far
I'm
about
kind of
those.
hoping we get Grimm's point of view of the very first wedding and what went through his mind when he's pretty much dying from the Drex and then she just shows up and wipes out everything because he smiled at her before one went right through him. Like their nails went
Yeah.
through the him. So like I want to know what kind of was going through his mind. Like what were his last thoughts?
Probably that he was giving it
Dying a
all up
happy
for
man.
her.
He was dying a happy
Yeah.
man that he didn't think that he would
That
ever
he
get to
made
that
peace
point.
that he made peace with his decision to save it all, give it all for her.
I want to know, like, if we get a look at, like, how he knows about Lark and then him telling Oro.
Yeah.
Like, how did that discussion go where he was telling Oro?
Like, is that something that was passed down to him because his ancestor imprisoned her? So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, keep this secret, keep this guarded, make sure that she continues to feed. So we have this world type of thing. Or did he stumble upon it? Like, what the fuck, yo?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I wonder if we find out.
I don't even.
All right. Thank you for watching or listening to Chapters Over Coffee, and join us next week where we're going over pages 312 through 351.